Welcome to Foresight FM Podcast, the number one entertainment hub with the big boss A to the R to the S to the C-O-T, Eric Scott. Don't go anywhere because we got the best for you.
She said, no, there's something that I need to tell you. And I said, is it bad? And she said, yes. And then I went to put my hand on her lap and she said, don't. Because you won't want to after I've told you what's happened.
You're listening to Prime Definition.
After we came off air on that podcast, you told me something. Mm-hmm. And it even gives me goosebumps now thinking about what you said. And it gave the whole team in the room who overheard our conversation goosebumps as well. So after our 30-minute conversation about marriage and monogamy and cheating and love, what did you say to me?
I told you a story.
Yeah.
And that was about 2 weeks earlier. I'd been traveling back from London home. And I got out of the train station and my wife picked me up and we got into the car and we had planned to go and have a brunch at my favorite little spot. They do amazing Cuervo's Rancho sauce. I was very excited. And she said, let's go straight home. I've made sandwiches. And she doesn't make great sandwiches. So I said, no, I think the brunch is a better option. And she said, no, there's something that I need to tell you. And I said, is it bad? And she said, yes. And I said, is it about the marriage? And she said, yes. And then we began to drive back. And I had this sinking feeling in me. And we drove for about 5 minutes in silence. And then I went to put my hand on her lap. And she said, don't. Don't touch me. Because you won't want to after I've told you what's happened. And that's whenever it dropped. And I remember that 10-minute drive back home then felt like an eternity. I was just looking out the window. And we got home. We got into the house, into the kitchen. And I was standing by the kitchen table, hands rested on it. And I said, what's happened? And she said, I've been having an affair with a man from work. And I remember just tears began to stream. I didn't move, completely motionless. Tears began to stream. And then she said, and that's not all. And she said, I'm pregnant with this child. And in that moment, I felt like I lost a lot. You know, I'd lost my wife. I'd lost the life we created. I'd lost the dog, our home, my parents-in-law, her family, everything that I'd really held dear. If someone said, what makes a meaningful life? I would have described these things. And it felt like they'd just been snatched away, just came crumbling down like a house of cards. And then fast forward 2 weeks and Steve decides to ask. And I remember because the first thing, no, it's fascinating because the first thing he asked was, you're married, right? And I do this high-pitched laugh and I go, yes. and then the conversation flowed on and it's themes that I'd really thought about. Can you love someone and cheat on them?